Well, I was going to fish the wood side here at this location, but you can see there's somebody already there, so I can't fish that. And I'm not even going to bother fishing that pond because that's where Jay and I were with my son on Sunday, and there was hardly anything going on because of fishing pressure. How to take. How to take her. I don't have the right size hook on the bait, that's the problem. Hook's a little bit too close to the thickness of the hoagie eel. I made extra effort to come out early this morning because it's not even 7 o'clock yet. Because the water temperature is lower, left over from the cooler evening, and the lower water temperature allows more oxygen in the water. So your chances of finding active fish are better in the early morning hours. Got the 10-inch floating hoagie on, pink color. I picked the pink color just because it was the ugliest. And I knew that a lot of viewers wouldn't believe in the color. They would think it wouldn't be effective. Well, I already had one take on it. Big old 10-inch pink. Uh-oh, there's a circle. A wake. Something's looking at me. Well, I wanted to try to catch something on the hoagie, just to show you guys that it's a bona fide, and it's a floating hoagie, but I wanted to show you that it could be fished in the heavy muck and that it's even the pink one, the bass will hit it. I just need a decent size fish to hit this one, you know, because it is a 10-inch and the hook is in the front end of it. I'm working it on top. It tends to dart down a little bit because of the weight of the hook on the head of the worm, the eel. But if you let it sit, it'll come to the top. I mean, I caught easily a majority of my topwater fish over the decades in the middle of the day in the bright sun and all that. But that's just because that's convenient fishing time. So I spent more time at those hours. But early morning or evening or late, you know, early dusk or nighttime is better in the summer because there's more oxygen in the water. And it automatically, the fish don't think about it. It's not like they think, oh boy, I'm more active now because I got more oxygen. No, they don't think about it. They got a brain the size of a pea. It's just automatic. They have more oxygen in their bodies because there's more oxygen in the water with the cooler water temperature. So that makes them more active automatically. They don't even have a chance to debate it or think about it, you know. They're automatically more active. So that's why I'm out here right now. And so far I had the one take and missed it. I don't think it was a big fish, big enough to get the bigger eel, you know, the 10-inch eel. The hoagie's a little bit stiffer in freshwater than it would be in saltwater because freshwater's not as dense as saltwater. And so this lure is designed for saltwater fishing. And the more dense saltwater would push on the bait more and give it more action. Allow the lure to undulate better. In the freshwater, the hoagie eel's a little bit stiff looking, at least in the 10-inch size, the floating hoagie. Now the regular hoagies are more, they have better action, I think. They undulate easier. Darn, there was a fish right there. There was a fish. Don't know how big he was. But he didn't hit the hoagie, so he was probably smaller and got spooked by the hoagie. Let's find out. You got to have a decent sized bass hit this big, 10-inch hoagie eel. Otherwise, it's going to be a nada, Well, guess I'm not going to catch anything this morning. The bass just aren't active yet. I don't see any activity at all. So I'm a little bit too early today. Got good oxygen in the water, but the fish haven't really gotten up and about, out and about yet. They're not really awake. So I'll make another stop. Oh, I have a taker. Too little. He's too small for this lure. I didn't see the fish, but he took it. Darn, that's 2 takes. And no fish. He took it under. He just couldn't get the hook. Another good thing about this pink, bubblegum pink hoagie is you can see it when it's under the water a little bit. So if a fish takes it, when it's down slightly under the water surface, I'll be able to see the fish flash on it. That's why my son likes to fish the brightly colored worms. He fishes these really bright, hot pink or chartreuse worms, and he does very well with them. But he likes them because he can see them under the water surface, and that way he can see when he has a hit. Well, how about that, guys? I had another take right there, right up front, right near the spillway. And I don't know if it was just a small fish and couldn't get, the hook, or if it just didn't hit where the hook was. But I had 2 takes this morning on the 10-inch floating hoagie, hot pink. I don't know if I'll try anywhere else or not. It's raining, chilly, windy, stormy. It's supposed to clear up later, but for now, I guess that's going to have to serve as my demonstration on the weedless floating hoagie for topwater bass fishing. I'll throw it some more, They make a skinny hoagie, which I really would prefer, but they don't make it as in a floating version. So the skinny hoagie would only be a giant plastic worm for bass. I'm looking for topwater action, so I'm looking for floating. Now Z-Man does make some other floating. All of their Elastec polymer soft baits are floating. And Z-Man makes those 10 and 12-inch lizards, which I have a bunch of them. They'd make great topwater baits, no problem. So I might throw them, as a snake bait, even with their arms dangling. So what? The fish don't care. So those 10 or 12-inch Z-Man Elastec polymer lizards that I have might become one of the alternate options that I'll put up, you know, with some of my other snake bait options, you know, for auction. We'll see. So guys, yeah, I was a little bit surprised when I got out on the water this morning that the 10-inch floating hoagie is a little stiffer than I expected. I mean, in salt water it'll have good action, you know, but I mean, you know, I'm not sure how they achieve the floating you know, formulation for their plastic, whether it's got air whipped into it, which if it did, it would make it stiffer, and it sure enough is, or whether it's just a lower density polymer that they have formed. But either way, it doesn't have quite the action I expected. If they made the hoagie skinny in a float, you know, floating version, I'd go for that, because it would be thinner through this section here and therefore would be more flimsy like that and have better action. But to my knowledge, they don't make the floating skinny. They only make the skinny. But for example, you can see how this action is. And look at this, that's a 10-inch floating. Now this is a 14-inch not floating, original. Look how flimsy it is. I can't even get it all in the picture. The action on these original hoagie soft plastics is just ridiculous. Fantastic action. But this is not a floating bait. And by the way, I did look on their website, and this is a 14-inch hoagie, original hoagie. They do make them up to 18 inches. Great eel imitators, man, for nighttime fishing. Eels are considered candy, you know, striper candy. And the striper just cannot resist an eel. And these things are better than fishing a live eel because you can keep reusing it, you know. Anyway, you know, I'm not worried whether I can use these for my topwater snake bait. I can always use them for saltwater fishing, for stripers, no problem. So these baits will not go to waste. I have a lot of hoagie baits. I have some of their smaller 7-inch versions. I have like 5 different colors of those. Those are great. I could fish them in freshwater for bass just like a regular worm. But they have this thick body shape. You know, these are made for stripers, for saltwater. But I'll make use of these whether I use them for the snake bait or not, no problem. The other concern I have is this is the original Man's Tidewater Waker that I talked about in the previous video. And this is the Citrus Holo shad color, which I love. It's my favorite color. Apparently, even though the mid 1 minus that I just ordered $100 worth of from the Man's website, even though it looks identical to this lure, apparently it is not. So I'm very concerned now. I've ordered $100 of them, 15. I ordered 15 of them. And I had written to Man's Bait last night, and I got a response when I got back from fishing this morning, and asked them whether it was the same bait or not, and they said it is not. So I'm concerned. I will do a video comparing this original Man's Tidewater Waker to the ones that I ordered when I get them. According to them, they must have changed the bill on it, because the mid 1 minus dies to 12 to 16 inches, whereas this original Tidewater Waker would only go to 3 to 4 inches. So we'll see. You know, if that's the case, as long as the body is the same, if that's the case and only the bill is different, you know, I might have to grind the bill down a little bit to prevent it from diving too much. But we'll see. But anyway, I'm a little bit concerned about that. Love this lure though. This thing is the tits. Listen to that. Alright, let me get back here. I want to show you what I have as the option from Z-Man for the topwater snakebait. So guys, this is my bag of Z-Man soft plastics. You can see how much I am a believer of Z-Man. I've got other bags of their products scattered around through my tackle bags as well that are like in use, you know. But for now, I'm just going to get out. I'll show you what I have for Z-Man. and for their soft plastics. And while I'm at it, I will show you the big floating lizards I was talking about. These are the floating worms I just showed you in the other shop video. Here are the hula sticks in pearl color. They float. These are great. I've caught bass on them. You know, white is a good color, guys. Here's the finesse shads in blue steel color. These are nice little lures, and I've got a couple little shroom, you know, football heads in there to go with them. Those are very handy. They catch fish. The Elastec polymer is indestructible, man. I have several different colors of the minnows. This one's called the Deal. Here's the minnows opening night. It's like a translucent with reflective foil in it. Here's the minnows in red bone. The minnows is a great bait. It's got the thumper tail on it, and they just work. Caught lots of bass on them over the years. Here's a smoky shad minnows. It's got flake in it, silver flake. Here's a bag of Z-Man tubes. These tubes, in my opinion, are the best tube lure you can buy. Elastec polymer, indestructible, super soft, and I have caught tub bass on these tubes. You can see I have more of them. I get the black and blue color. That's my favorite for jigging. Alright, here's chatterbait trailers in the orange color. This is for chatterbaits. I've got two different types of trailers put together in there from Z-Man, just because they're the same color. But those are chatterbait trailers. These are some weighted hooks that I put in there just in case I need them for punch jigging or something. Here's zinkers in Bomba crawl color. What's left of them. They catch good fish. There's only 3 in the bag now. I've caught lots of bass on those. These are like a typical stick bait, and that color actually works. Bomba crawl zinkers, 5-inch. Good flotation. All these soft plastics from Z-Man float. Here's a little bag of leeches, scented leeches, black and blue. Caught bass on them. Here is another trailers. This is the pearl color for the chatterbaits, or for even putting on a little jig head or something, you know, whatever you want to put it on. And finally, I'm down to what I wanted to show you, the lizards. And actually, I have several different colors of the lizards in this bag, because I split up several colors with my brother Jay Bird for his birthday one year. And these are 10-inch. So let's get a couple of them out. Now look, this thing, look how soft and flexible this is. This would make a great snake bait. It's going to float. Now you're going to have to match the hook up carefully. You don't want to overweight it with a hook. You know, a big giant hook would make it sink a little bit up on the nose. So you want to make, you know, put the hook in it that's just the right size. That would be a heavy enough hook to handle a big fish, and yet in a big enough hook gap, so there's, you know, so that you can get a good hook up. So this would make a great snake bait, soft plastic. And if you don't like the arms, because snakes don't have arms, you can easily just cut them off if you really want to. I would throw it just like it is, because I know the bass won't care and they'll hit it anyway. So that's a black and blue lizards, and just so flimsy. I mean, these are a really good quality product. They're just, I mean, look, it's indestructible stuff. You can't even, you know, it's almost impossible to tear it. Yeah, it does tear if you catch enough fish. The hook will tear it and all, but it lasts so well. 10-inch lizards. This could be the soft plastic that I use with my snake baits. So that's black and blue. What else do I have here? Here's I forgot what they call this. It's black with red flake. Looks awesome. That red flake is beautiful. Just look how flimsy these things are, man. Just fantastic. This one's got like a bent arm on it. It's got like a torn arm. No big deal. Let's see. Oh, here's another color. I think I only have the 3 colors. This is like a watermelon, you know, green pumpkin or watermelon. I think it's actually the watermelon chartreuse tail is what it is. It's got black flake in it. Just great lures, man. I mean, this 10-incher, that's a 10-inch. That could be a great trailer for the snakebait. Or it could be fished alone on top with the right size hook as a top order snakebait. I'm going to be demonstrating this, guys, coming up in upcoming videos. When I start getting out on the kayak and I can fish a little bit more often, I'm going to start showing you guys. I'm going to be throwing these baits. You know, yeah, I love fishing the clatterbrat lures, that's for sure, but it's fun to fish something else once in a while too, and especially a snake bait, which would be something new and different for me. These 10-inchers, man, I'm going to go to the Z-Man website and just find out if they have a bigger one. I think they might have a 12-incher too, I don't know. If they do, I'm going to order some of them. But this 10-incher is just fine. Can be fished as a top water snake bait in the muck and scum with a weedless hook on the nose, and you're all set. You know, I might want to order some different colors of these. Like if they have it in white, I might get the white color or some other bright color so that it's easier to see on the muck and scum. These dark colors will look good from underneath for the bass as a shadow, you know, profile. But they will be harder to see from the boat. However, if I get the whiter color or some bright color, it'll be opaque as well and it'll still create a shadow, so all good. But that's coming up as a good candidate for the snake bait. Z-Man lizards, 10-inch. Because I'll tell you, the Z-Man Elastec polymer, I love that stuff. It's like, it's almost indestructible. It is a little weird, and you know, you have to keep it separate from other soft plastics, and it's highly recommended that you leave Z-Man soft plastics in their original packaging. You know, don't try to put it in another type of plastic, not even a tackle tray. That plastic from Z-Man can mess up your tackle trays, and it'll melt any other type of soft plastic. It's a different polymer, and as a result, it's not compatible with normal soft plastics or even normal tackle trays. So keep those Z-Man soft plastics in their original packaging. Z-Man has chosen the packaging so that there's no reaction between it and their soft baits. But yeah, those 10 or 12-inch lizards that I have from Z-Man, they could work. They're light, they're very buoyant, they float. They're almost indestructible. So, interesting option there. Stay tuned, guys. I'm really enjoying working on the snake bait idea. And as you can see, I'm not really worried about it being an original clatterbrat lure. I'm doing it for the love of fishing, you know, and for the love of topwater fishing. And hopefully we can all have some fun together with it. In addition to, you know, the clatterbrat lure thing. So that's it for now, guys. Thanks for watching. God bless. Fish slow, and best wishes.